Hi, Dennis McNairn here from All Sense IoT. Just let me give you a bit of background about myself and why we're here. We'll start with why we're here. The idea of this video series is to introduce you to us and to let you know a bit about the opportunities that are available in the world today in IoT. I guess that some of you certainly will have come from the hobbyist background, because that's where I posted a lot of the messages about this free video series. Others will be working in business and all sorts of things, I guess. But at the moment, what we want to do is understand why IoT is, why the Internet of Things is a really prime opportunity at the moment, particularly at the moment, with the new normal that we're going through. But my very quick background, I've been in Malaysia for 10 years, 12 years in Asia. I'm from Australia originally. So I came up here to get involved in business. I was doing green business technology, investigation into solar power, bamboo clothing, green building materials. We set up a modular building company to do modular buildings for all sorts of things, but primarily at the moment focused on resorts and that type of development. So why IoT and why All Sense IoT? Well, when I was involved in agricultural projects, both in Cambodia and here, and we've got a farm here at our property that we manage in Hulagunga, we wanted to manage things better. We wanted to make things smoother. We wanted to make it easier for farmers, particularly smallholder farmers. One of the major reasons I set up All Sense IoT is to allow systems, IoT systems and better management systems to be implemented in smallholder farms. So, in developing countries, the paddy field guy and the guy with the small veggie patch and whatever. Because there are millions of them and they have difficulty accessing good technology. So part of what we're doing with All Sense IoT is establishing systems that can be deployed at low cost, that we can help manage their inputs, their outputs, and the results, so to help them generate more profit. So as well as that, obviously we're looking at all sorts of other industry sectors, everything from power to manufacturing to cold storage. We'll talk about those type of opportunities later on. Now, we're a company based in Malaysia. We want to have outreach around the world. We believe that we can provide good value to clients all around the world, but we can't do that by ourselves. We can't be flying, swimming, whatever, all around the world to meet clients, particularly now with COVID-19. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to mention the prime opportunity that we have right now in IoT, because business owners cannot get into their businesses. Equipment that they own that is either operational or not operational at the moment, but will be, chillers for storing hundreds or thousands of dollars of fruit or veggies or meat or fish or whatever. How much power consumption they're going to have. They got water leaks in the basement, or they've got flood damage. I mean, people don't know because typically they're not measuring or monitoring those things. That's where IoT comes in. So what do I do? What's my role? I mean, just to give you, again, a heads up, I'm not a techie. You probably know more than me about packet rates and whatever else and microprocessors. I've got a very good small team who do know all about that stuff. My job as an entrepreneur, I guess, is to build business design building business systems, and then to take that to market. So I am the salesman, if you like. I am the one who builds the model of how this thing is going to work and then take it to market to guys like you. I mean, at this point, you are a potential partner with us in terms of how do we get more outreach and how we deliver excellent quality for our clients and how to deliver the right products and get them the results they want. We can't do it ourselves. We need partners. And this is why this video series, to introduce you to who we are, what we do, and what we think the opportunity is going to be going forward for guys like you, potentially. So what we do know about enthusiasts is that they are enthusiastic. If they're hobbyists, if in any field, they love the nitty-gritty of it. They love the detail of it. That doesn't always translate to being able to develop business around that. So that's where we come in. We do that part of it. So we've built an enormous database. Since 2015, I've been looking at the LP-WAN space. The ecosystem wasn't quite ready. Things need to change, but we now have the LoRaWAN Alliance. We have MyOTs coming up. If you haven't heard of that interesting organisation. Obviously got Sigfox, which in Malaysia, in my part of the world, has done a great job of rolling out infrastructure and gateways, covering, I think it's 85% at the moment of Malaysian population. So there are different ways to achieve the same result. You can deploy your own gateways, you can run on Sigfox, but we'll get to all of that later on. That's not important right now. But right now, the issue is that the new normal, and I think this is the new normal going forward, is that there is going to be a lot more disruption to business. There's going to be a lot more change to the way things are done. I mean, I think this Zoom and all of the remote viewing and remote meetings are going to be more and more the normal in the future. Businesses will say, well, we've had months of no revenue, and now we're going to save money by not sending our people on flights, when we can, on flights to hotels, to go to seminars, to go whatever. So I think a lot more is going to happen. Where does that leave us? So that means that it's a less for the businesses going forward in their own business. They need to cut costs. They need to manage things better. They need to not have equipment break down. They need to have things just work better for them. They also need to be aware of what's going on in the business, even when they're not there. So IoT, IoT, IoT. Even my property here that I manage is set in Noarlunga. I got 8 acres. I've got 9 buildings. I've got a farm area. We're doing a count of the types of sensors that we need here. I want all of my buildings monitored for power consumption, water consumption. I want my pumps monitored. And I blew up a pump, previously because it overheated and we didn't know. So it's a classic use case. We've got the farm. We need soil moisture and irrigation control. I've got tanks everywhere. I need to know how much water's in them. It's a whole range of things. You can see where that opportunity is. The more you look, the more you see with respect to where IoT and sensors and monitoring and management can be better. So, but I also know that for guys like you, if you're involved in the tech world, when you're trying to talk about the latest Adafruit feather or the ESP8266 or anything else, you get a glazed eye look from the family and friends who aren't into that space. So, but we know that you know. So we're hoping to be able to work with you to get you to the point where not only do you know the tech side, but also you know the business side, and we give you all the tools and things like that to help you to actually achieve that. So let's talk about IoT. Let's talk about the whole thing of IoT. Is it just hype? If you were to listen to the mainstream media, all you hear about is wearables and bling and everything else. Obviously, businesses don't care about that, or business owners don't care about that. They personally, they might, but for their business, they don't. What they care about is, can it save me money? Can it make me money? Can I keep ahead of the competition? And if it can, it will do those things for me, where do I start? Anybody who's ever started to look into the IoT ecosystem out there, the confusion of suppliers and vendors and platforms and types and technologies and this and that and what does what and what can do what and everything else, even me who has sort of made a study of that over the last few years, it's confusing enough for me, which is why we built our database so that we can get a handle on all that. As system integrators, we need to do that. But for a business owner who doesn't even know what it is, IoT, you say, what does that? You have to say Internet of Things, and then you can say IoT for short once you understand that. Then, what does it do? What can it do for me? How can it do that for me? Do I need to know technical stuff? Is it a black box I can just rely on? Who's going to look after it for me? Security issues, coverage issues, all of those things. So they need help. They need to understand it. And we're building an education program for owners, for business owners, like a IoT primer, so that, as a consulting expert of ours, you can point them to that sort of material and resource to help your prospective clients understand the big space, so you can help them understand how that can help them in their business space. So, but we've looked at them all. We've looked at, I said, LoRaWAN, we've looked at C-Forest, we've looked at Coyote, we've looked at Wise, we've looked at Thread, we've looked at Zippy, we've looked at all of those, MBIoT. So we've had a look at that. We're not going to go into that in too much detail in this video. I will a bit later on in one of our upcoming videos, but in this one, it's kind of just an overview, right? So, what kind of help do they need? They need someone who can go into their business, and I'll explain how we do that without going into their business, understand what their business is, what it does, what are the main critical drivers for their business, where their break points and weak points are, what information is relevant to them and can really help them sort of move the needle on their business, what are their priorities, how does it work, the benefits, the ROI, all those types of things are what business owners want. Whether it's IoT or whether it's buying a new this or a new vehicle or anything else, it's the same process. How does it help me? How do I manage it? How much will it cost? What's my ROI on that? All of the normal things for any asset or resource that they buy, it's all the same. We have to be able to help them move through that process, so we educate them and help them understand so they see the value. Okay, so that's what we do in terms of helping our clients to understand where the value drivers are for IoT. And we have created and are creating a whole set of business tools for us to use and for our expert consultants to use as well, to make it easy for us to get the right information in the first place, and at the same time be able to build that value proposition and show the business owners and business managers what it is that they're going to get and why they should get it and how the value lies for them going forward. You can see one of the little things that we built was a calculator on the website. You'll see that the website, you've been there, you've registered. It's a very basic website. It's not even its own domain. There's no particular reason for that other than I use Weebly as a platform to throw websites up. So we'll get to domaining it and everything else eventually. And it's a very basic template because that's what I use. But what I did on one of the pages there, I built the calculator and put it up. So it's currently using Sigfox components. I've got a separate one for LoRa. So it's just it was a way to make it relatively easy. The process of doing calculations on solutions was something that, obviously we want to make simple for ourselves, for yourselves, for clients, for whatever. And it was useful to put it into a calculator form. So I put it on the website so that you guys and anybody else can have a bit of a look and just get a feel for what does an IoT system cost, as a guide. Obviously, it doesn't account a lot of factors and it doesn't have the whole database there, but it's enough. So if you go to the website and have a look at that, then you'll get a sense of what we're doing in terms of building tools to make this whole business process easier. So the topic of this particular video was you're already an IoT expert, you just aren't paid for it yet. So I hope that I fulfilled answering that topic, which is that I do believe you're an IoT expert, because an IoT expert in today's world is someone who knows a little bit more than anybody else. And in most cases, most people know nothing. So your background and what we've addressed today and what we'll address going forward, I think will put you in the point of expert. And then we'll talk about at the end of this series, in the fourth video, we'll talk about how we have created the IoT expert, implementation expert course that we ask future partners to go through, so that we're comfortable that if you happen to be a partner of ours and you're out there talking to clients, that we know that you know enough to talk them through the right things and not mislead them and not confuse them further. So that's something that we're building as well. Very good for us, because it helps us to align and focus on the areas that we need to look at. Because we at the end of the day, even with our partners, we are the system integrators, we are the final designers of the systems, we are the deliverers of the system, and this is all going to be what we call high touch, low contact, which basically means that Everything is going to be delivered for self-deployment by the client. We aren't going to be there. You aren't going to be there. The client's going to receive packages and they will then self-deploy. So we have to make sure that our supply side works well, logistics is all coordinated. So that's our back end that we have to worry about. But what you need to worry about is, getting all the right information from clients so that, we can then build that system together. So if you still think that becoming an IoT expert is a really cool way to make great money, and we'll talk about how the money will be as we go through the process, make sure to watch the next video in this series. It'll be out tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Malaysian time, same time as this, when we talk about the multitude of IoT options for business and how we really go deep diving with clients to find out what they really need. So if you're ready to talk to business owners and managers about IoT, Industrial Revolution 4.0, and get paid for it, watch video 2, the next video in this series, which will ask and answer the question, how do I help clients to design their IoT solution? So in that second video, I'm going to share with you how we go about helping clients. And then in video 3, we'll look at some of the tools we use, the database I mentioned, business forms, proposal templates, and everything else, how we help them to make the decision to go forward. But for now, hopefully this has been useful for you as first video in the 4-video series. If there's anything that I covered but was confusing, ask a question in the group. Anything that I didn't cover you feel I should have or you'd like to know about even now, we might come up later in the videos, but even now, ask in the group. We'll create an FAQ from all the questions that we get. So for you guys and everybody else going forward, we've got a knowledge base as well. If you've learned anything new in this video, also put it in the group. So I'd love to hear your questions and thoughts, and I'll be responding to every comment personally, so just ask the question. And the next one will be up tomorrow night at the same time, 7 p.m. Malaysia time. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you tomorrow.